Hello, my loves, and welcome back. It has been a hot minute since I have been here making a podcast, but the universe has been taking us on some incredibly profound journeys. And today I want to drop in with you guys on a topic that is so true to my heart and something that has been very present in the field. And that was my journey of coming off chronic medication. So, before we begin, just for you to know a little bit of my background, I am a mind body practitioner. So, it's within my scope of practice to really bring people into understanding of how your brain and your neurology works with your biology. And the steps I'm going to take you in no means now go follow these steps, come off all your medication unsupported and unsupervised, go wild. It was my personal journey. And I believe that we as humans here on this planet are walking each other home, that we all hold codes and keys that allow us to come into our freedom. So, what I want to share today is my journey and my journal piece that I basically wrote and reflected on how I came through and came off being on chronic medication. So, to give you some background, I was started on medication and my first surgery when I was 8 years old. I had my first surgery and I started medication when I was 5. I had multiple different health sicknesses from a young age. And the question people always ask is why? Why, by the time I was 21, was I in my 11th surgery? Why did I have epilepsy? Why did I have bipolar disorder? Why did I have splenic problems, organ failure, weight gain, so many problems, thyroid disorders? I had a plethora of sicknesses, even though I should have been a pretty healthy, functioning young woman. There are a number of major factors that block our bodies from receiving. But one of the biggest ones is that we start chronic medication. We start medication, and medication basically synthetically blocks our natural biology. Our bodies are biological supercomputers, which means when they spike up a sickness, when they spike up a pain, when they spike up an illness, it's basically layers of densified energy that's now landed into the body. So it starts with a spiritual block, it goes into a mental block, it goes into an emotional block, and we hold it and we hold it and we hold it, and our bodies densify. And that then creates a sickness. And each area of our body literally communicates a energy or an emotion that is stagnant. So when I was a child, I had chronic pneumonia. I had it 9 times over 4 years, and I had permanent lung damage and asthma and all these sicknesses. And actually, I had a lot of grief. I had a lot of heart pain that I never shared, that I never opened about. And so it densified into my body over all of those years. I had chronic spleen problems and I had 5 different major operations. I had the largest splenic cyst in human history. And no one could figure out why I had so many different things done. But the spleen actually links to our solar plexus and it links to anger. I had been abused by my mom, by my teacher, and when I was a little girl. And I had sublimated, I had closed in anger because I was little, I didn't know how to fight. And so what happened was it appeared in my body. What about all the weight gain? Well, a huge contributing factor is your hormones. And when you're on chronic birth control and you're going through all these psychosexual symptoms and you're going through a lot of different things, especially as women, we go through so much feeling fear, feeling unsafety, how we're used in sex. We disconnect from our portal. The pill literally caps our ability to connect to source. The body starts to wrap itself with a protected layer. So I just started to gain weight and gain weight and gain weight and gain weight. My hormones were imbalanced. So there's a lot of reasons why we go on chronic medication, and it's usually with a heart of I want to get better and I want to help my body. But ultimately, your body's sickness is actually helping you find out what you're not seeing in other areas of your life. So that's something I just want to start off with saying as a basis for mind body connection and understanding is that your body's actually a genius. And the more we take medication, the more we're basically numbing, capping, and closing or densifying in our problems. We are trying to fix our body rather than heal our emotions, our souls, and our heart space. And the more we attack our body as the problem, the more we believe subconsciously we are the problem. And so we create more problems. So healing really starts when you start to unpack the fact that we are conditioned by big pharma and by society that we need medication to get better, when actually sickness is happening because your body is trying to help you as a soul and as a person have a happier life. And usually we're pretty fucking miserable. There's something in our life that is causing misery that's so deep that the body is saying, hey, time out. So for me, medication, one, actually isn't the easy route because it keeps densifying and it's a downward spiral. And two, it's closing you from actually deepening into your soul's purpose, into your deepening level of healing in yourself. We are not here to live comfortable lives. We're here to elevate our energy. We're here to find our blocks. We're here to go into our pain, to come through the other side and find that on the other side of all of those 10 chronic medications and all of those surgeries and all of that pain and all of those seizures and all of that sickness, and I'm speaking to myself as a younger girl, there's a beautiful, healthy, orgasmic, functioning, glowing being that's going to make a powerful impact in this world. So on that note, I'm going to pull up my notes from me a couple of years ago when I came off of my chronic medication. And I want to share with you what I wrote and how I wrote about it, mainly because I want you guys to connect into that story, into that version, and know that it is so possible for you too. It is so possible for all of us to go through a healing journey and a process. And I'm going to give it to you step by step. I had 14 steps that I took to actually help me make the turn from coming off my chronic medication. So let's start off by saying this. The first thing is that it's a time-free process. The goal is to safely come off all medication, and you don't want to rush that process. If you've been on medication for years, like I had been, and there's no imminent reason to stop it, you don't need to. And when we think, I have to come off them now, we put mental pressure on ourselves. And that basically makes us feel fear. And fear is the leading reason why, one, we have sickness, and two, we're on medication. I know for me, I was just fucking petrified to come off my pills because I was so used to them. They were my safety blanket. So take the mental pressure off. What I want you to know is that if you're at that point in your life where you're wanting to come off your medication, you will have made a decision. And as we know, a decision is really just the strong driving current that drops you into a flow that's going to carry you to places where you've never been when you've made that first decision in your life. It is taking the leap of faith. And so if you're at that point, you're already making that conscious decision. You're about to jump into a flow of life that's going to take you places you had no idea. Medication caps us. So when we make the choice to come back, we're going to delve deep into shadows, into pain, into emotions, and we're going to go into the highs of the waves of life's abundance. Okay, so let's drop it. Oh, here are the steps I personally created for myself and I followed when I weaned myself off medication. And I found them to work in a profound, profound way in the healing journey I've experienced. I've regained a authentic, intrinsic trust within myself that is nothing short of miraculous. And I truly believe in this method because I am the walking evidence of its effectiveness. It's such a big journey. I'm so excited to share this. Okay, so in your own healing journey, it's about being authentic to yourself. Please know that. It's about going in with your own intuition, trusting the universe, and asking for signs, and then really moving from fear to faith as you step into the unknown and you begin to really trust and nurture healing abilities that you possess within you. It's such a faith journey coming back into your body, but this is my best guidance. So, number one, move away from the person who prescribed you the medication in the first place. It's a big step, but leaving your doctor or psychiatrist is imperative because they will always push you back to the meds. And number two, and I'm going to elaborate a little, but number two, ways to move away. Simply lose contact for a while. Don't tell them you're leaving. Just set the intention that you're leaving and begin to close down contact. It will organically tether thereafter. So these first two steps are really important because the people who prescribe you medication believe in the medication. And it's almost like an entity. It's hooked into their field. They believe that that is going to heal you, but they don't know you. They haven't lived every day in your life. They don't know your body. They don't know your full life circumstance. They know their belief. And their belief is conditioned beautifully with probably the best intention. Yes, money, yes, profit, but probably because that's how they were conditioned, that this medication is the best for you. But if you're starting to feel it's not the best for you, and you're trying to tell them that, they're going to be in their belief system. And ultimately, we have something called the white jacket effect or the nocebo effect, which is where we believe in our biology that the person who's prescribed us medication is an authority and they know better than we do. So when you're starting to come off medication, you're re-empowering yourself. You're reclaiming your power. But the fastest way to disempower ourselves is to go back to the people who took our power or who we gave our power to, and then try to persuade them. You basically want to begin to shift contacts without telling them, but just shift contacts. I know that's what happened with me, and I just slowly stopped talking to my psychiatrists and my doctors who I used to always text and email, and I felt so important and so seen. And it's a bit of an ego death, but they literally didn't even notice that I stopped because they have 100 patients. And that's a big ego death. And a lot of us, our ego feeds off of feeling seen and special through our sickness. So when we're actually choosing to come off, there is that ego death where it's like, we're not that important. And if they do reach out and they do contact, you just say, yeah, I'm doing well. Everything's great. Thanks. So that you're basically letting them know it's good. You're putting positive energy into your field, but you're not trying to feed your unmet needs with them. And you're not still disempowering yourself by trying to let them give you the permission slip to actually have control and autonomy of your body. Okay. Step number 3. Don't tell anyone you're coming off your medication. I know it's a big one, but not with your close friends, not your mom, not your parents, not your doctor, not anyone. Why? People project their fear-based beliefs onto you. It's just normal for people to panic around medication, and having this bias and fear consistently projected onto you will cripple you from healing and shifting into faith. So this was a big one in my personal journey, and I want to unpack it a little bit. When I was coming off my medication, I was dealing with a lot of people who wanted me on medication. I had had a suicide attempt. I had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I had been diagnosed with anxiety and mental disorders my whole life. And to top it off, my older sister had committed suicide, and she also had bipolar disorder. So when I was coming off my meds, I wasn't just facing my own fears of like, what if shit goes wrong? What if I fall apart? I also had to face my dad. And my dad basically had a narrative, and he was my hero. I loved him so much that the medication kept me safe. Even though when I'd had my suicide attempt, by the way, and most people who have suicide attempts are on heavy medication, but he believed medication helps balance Emma. So if I told him at the beginning, when I was still fucking scared and I was still figuring it out, hey, Dad, I'm coming off of my meds, he would have launched a full propaganda to keep me on them because he was scared for my life. He was projecting his fear out of love, but it's not true love because true love is saying, hey, I trust you and I empower you and I believe that your body is a powerful supercomputer that is going to heal. That's unconditional love. Unconditional love is trusting that the body, without anything that we add into it, is perfect, is a healer, does its job. But we get scared. So, number three is probably the most important step, and it's not telling anyone, not your friends, not anyone, because right now you want to be pure in your channel. You want to be pure in your intention. You want to be in your faith, in your journey. You want to be telling everyone, I'm feeling great, I'm doing great, everything's well, and testing in. And this comes to point number four. So it is a 14-step process, and I really built it up for myself because I wanted to make sure every single check was checked to make sure no fuck ups happened. Like I said, I'd had a suicide attempt, so I knew I was taking my life into my hands again, and that does take a level of responsibility. So, step four is you do weekly check ins. They're so good with your loved ones, and you ask them how they think you're doing. So you tell them you're on your spiritual healing journey, which more than likely, if you're coming off medication, you're on that journey of self discovery and you want to know if they're seeing positive results. You don't tell them you're coming off your meds, but when you eventually come off all your meds, they won't know that you're off them. And you can know that they, without any bias, were telling you the truth about your improvements. So when they don't know you're coming off your meds, but you're checking in weekly, being like, hey, I'm starting my spiritual journey, I'm shifting my life, I'm on my healing journey. How do you think I'm doing? This is what I found. Every week, I called my dad and I was like, hey, Daddy, how do you think I'm doing? And I was explaining about my life. And he was like, I've never heard you better. I've never heard you better. You're glowing, you're losing weight, you're so happy. And I was like, oh, thanks. It's like my journey, and I'm doing all these beautiful new practices. And every single week, I reprogram not only my brain, but my dad's and my friends and my family and everyone around me. I checked in so that they had a record for it took me about 6 months, a 6 month record weekly of seeing me doing better. And what they didn't know was while I was doing better, my meds were doing less. But that reprogrammed their brains so that by the time that I did say, hey, I came off all my meds, they had 6 months of evidence that they had personally said, you're doing better. So they could never dispute it. They could never fight me on it. But I was walking in my truth and I was checking in honestly to see. Because I told myself, if one person, if my dad or someone else says, and you're going downhill, I would take that as a reflection point. But no one said that. Everyone started seeing me doing better. And that's step number five then, is take responsibility and come off your meds very, very slowly. There is no rush to come off chronic meds because you're supposed to be on them for life. So take the pressure off. This isn't like, oh, now I'm just going to stop the whole lot. I think when I came off my meds, I was taking like a quarter dose of the pill less every 3 weeks. So it really was like a 6 to 8 month, even longer process. I was also on 10 chronic meds, so I had a lot to slowly wean off. But you come off them really, really, really slowly. And you give yourself a while to wean off them. And in some respect, and in this, the small steps are the healthiest and the most effective because also what you're doing for your body is you're giving it time to reshift its hormones and its chemicals. So the slower you come off your meds, the more your body is able to counter and shift and rewire itself to support and balance you naturally. So your body doesn't get thrown into dis-ease or into the parasympathetic where it's like, I had all these hormones and all these things and now they're all gone and now I'm stressed. The body can naturally rekilter and rebalance itself. Okay, step 6. Now, this is a imperative step, and it's often where I open myself. If you're listening to this and you're on this journey and you're wanting it, please drop in with me. I've had so many clients, friends, soulmates, my own self heal through this, and that is get yourself a healer. Energy healers are the best, or people who are working with energetics, quantum healing, that knows the mind-body connection and can guide you with energy healing diet and reassurance. We're not meant to do the journey alone, but it's very hard to do the journey with the people who we were with who believe that we should be on the meds. So for me in my journey, I got an energy healer. And then, of course, I specialize in anesthesia psychology. And now I'm a Kundalini bodywork healer and work so much with energetics. Why? You want someone on your team. You want someone who is coming in weekly or bi-weekly or monthly and helping you actually understand the higher levels of how this works, who understands mind-body connection, who understands the spirit of science and spirituality and sexuality in the body that works with your energy. It's your support system. And the amount of money you were investing into medication and doctors and surgeries, it's well worth investing into someone who's supporting your health, your natural healing, and your mental support. So, number 6 is really important. Get yourself a healthcare healer, someone who's going to come in and support. It is absolutely the best thing you can do. Okay, so number 7, and this is a very important one. The day you start to shift off your medication is you need to replace your pills with new vitamins. So the mind likes to pop pills. This is just a thing. If you've been on chronic meds, your mind has a neurological pattern of taking pills for security. It feels safe. It feels safe to take that little white pill, and something in you, placebo effect, really believes this white pill is going to save me. It's going to help me. We are programmed that way. It's literally, there's books on placebo effects, nocebo effects, the way that the mind works. And so you basically want to support your mind. You don't want to stress yourself out. You want to eliminate stress. So you want to placebo affect your brain. And what I did was I got vitamin D, which is the best supplement for all of us. It boosts our health. It's so good for your body and it boosts your moods. And I got them in little white pills. And then I always had a Dosset box that I had all my medication in, and I just put my vitamin D in. And so every morning I still had my habit of taking my pill. And you know what? I'm the kind of person who gets really humble about these things. There was just a sweet safety. I've been taking medication for 10 years and it felt good to pop my pills in the morning. And so I just replaced it with a vitamin D that looked very similar to one of the white pills that I was popping. And it gave me a lot of peace of mind. And you kind of almost forget you're just in your then habit phase. And that helps alleviate pressure off your brain so that you feel safe in your process. Safety is everything. Fear is what creates sickness, is what creates us to go on chronic meds, is what creates us to give our power away to doctors and other people. Fear is the base. So giving yourself the safety is what gives you the healing. So really trust in that. Okay, number 8. Another extremely important part of the journey is you need to commit at least 30 minutes a day to meditation or spiritual practice that helps ground you and center you. So, what I really dropped into and what I work with my clients on a lot is somatic healing, is bodywork healing, whether it's mudras, breathwork, EFT tapping, shamanic shaking, Kundalini energy. And often, if you're on this healing journey, it's important to have someone who's coming in and supporting you. I definitely did not do it alone. And now, of course, I facilitate, teach, and work one on one with clients and in groups to bring this in. And you start to form a daily practice. And you really want to learn the modalities, the somatic modalities that are going to support you the deepest to help rewire your central nervous system and bring your body from the sympathetic into the parasympathetic, where you are in rest and repair. It is vital. We are not just coming off medication. We are rewiring your brain, your entire collective around you's brain, and your body to somatically be healed and your highest potential. So it's not just like trying to come off meds, it's actually upward spiraling your entire human experience. And that does take somatic work and that does take support. So, number 8, start 30 minutes a day committing to meditation or a somatic spiritual practice that's helping your body heal and shift. Oh, okay. We are in this. I'm so excited to be sharing all this with you. Number 9, change your diet and cut out all hormonal foods. I know that this is a big one and it's an intense one for a lot of us, but especially when you're in the window of coming off your medication, you're going to need to change a lot in your field. So look at this as a 6-month or a 1-year journey where you just get to be different, because being different is what it's all about. When we're not stuck in our old patterns, we actually get to become new. We get to rebirth. And a big, big, big influencer for why we're sick and why we have disease, besides just being stressed and in fear and overwhelmed, is that our food is so fucking poisonous. So, the biggest thing with coming off medication is rebalancing your hormones. And the biggest hormone imbalancing foods is dairy and a lot of meat products. So, it's really important that we go through a detox phase. It's not to say you can't reintroduce them again into your diet, but when you're beginning, you want to give your body the optimal chance to actually detoxify so that it can start to heal and be a functional, powerful vessel. So, yeah, another thing I support a lot of clients with is the detox, the fasting, healing, best foods, mind body connection, all of it. Why? Because we freak out, we panic, we don't know what to do, we don't know how to eat, we don't know when to eat, we don't know how to fast, we don't know how to let our bodies insulin levels in. Like, it's a lot, it's a field. This is just one point. But if you're starting this journey, cut out hormonal foods. Foods that influence hormones, foods that are heavy in hormones, are not going to be supportive, especially if you're coming off medication that is affecting your biology, which ultimately is affecting your hormones. You want to get on clean, beautiful, pranic food while you are purifying yourself. And then once you've gone through that process, you can start to re-embody with the denser foods and start to see how your body takes and receives and desires them. Okay, we're almost there. Number 10 is journal a lot. Your channel starts to open when you come off medication, because medication basically blocks parts of you. If you're taking heart medication, it's tampering with your heart. It's blocking your natural heart's production. If you're taking antipsychotics, it's tampering with your third eye. It's tampering with your pituitary gland, your melatonin. If you're taking contraceptions, it's tampering with all of your womb hormones. Whatever pills we're on is basically tampering and blocking our natural body. So when we come off them, those energy centers start to open and a lot of stuff starts coming up. We start feeling fear. We start having good days, bad days, and we need actually to have a space where we are held. And journaling helps. I still to this day took up a journaling practice where I wrote down my fears. I observed my body and wrote down observations that were happening. I started to really find safety in creating this container where I was responsible for me. I wasn't running around trying to understand, oh, why am I feeling this way? Oh God, am I having an epileptic fit? Oh, please, doctors, help me. No, I was just journaling. Like, wow, today I felt a lot here and I was able to breathe. And it's so amazing how this happened. I journaled. You create a safety for yourself. You're re-empowering yourself. Number 11. Oh, a big part of Kundalini bodywork. But before I even learned the term Kundalini bodywork, before I became a practitioner, I was already intuitively getting this shit. And that was step 11 is shake your body. Shaking practices are so important. You need to move the energy of the medication suppressed inside you out. We have to move it out. Like, it needs to shift out of our bodies. It literally is like an entity. It hooks into our cells. I remember starting to meditate and seeing all this medication like energetically like linked into me. And it was like decades of just like I could just feel it. And I just was like, I gotta shake it out. Gotta get it out. Shake, 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 shake. So if you're starting in this process and you're going through it, start to shake your body. Like, see all these fears, all of this disease, all of the reasons why we're on medication, all of the safety that medication is saying it gives you, hooked into you, feeding off of you, taking your money, taking your energy, taking your sex drive, taking your intuition, taking your natural sense of self, taking your power. It really does. It feeds off of all of that. And shake your body. If you don't know how to shake or what shaking is, please drop in with me. This is something I guide people through in one-on-one sessions and one-off sessions and group coaching. It is such a fucking good exercise. Okay, number 12. In the moments, and this does come up, by the way, in the moments you think that you should just take your meds, there are days, and I definitely had it, where I was like, I'm not coping. I should take my meds. I should just go back. I should just take a pill. In those moments when you're in a fear state, in those moments where all of the decades of years of taking meds kick in and you're in that reaction rather than response mental mode, I want you to sit and take some deep breaths and come back into the present moment and remember that you're not your mind. You're not even your body. Your conscious awareness that is witnessing the racing thoughts and the panicked body. So what I did was I would stop, I would take a deep breath, and in my head, I would shout hello 5 times. So even now, take a moment, just stop, and in your mind, silently say hello 5 times. It's curious because you can hear yourself, which means there's something that is hearing and witnessing you talking. It's a really powerful presencing meditation that I learned when I was studying with Eckhart Tolle to remind you that you're not actually your mind, you're not the thinker. You are the seat of consciousness that witnesses the thinker, and the thinker is witnessing and trying to control the body. So when you can create a level of separation of your consciousness, you're able to realize you're not the thinker that's scared and you're not the body that's feeling panicked. You're witnessing both. And in that, you can start to breathe and release, 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 release the fear. Don't try hold it in. Don't hold your breath. Begin to release. Coming into your breath and releasing energy allows you to recenter. And at that moment, you can then say, okay, what are supportive modalities I can bring in? That's where we refer back to step 6. Call your energy healer and have a healing session. Or to step 10, journaling. Or step 11, shaking. You're actually able to come back and respond in a way that's going to most support you and your journey and your empowerment. Okay, number 13, last 2. I highly recommend aptogenetics, my pronunciation, in your diet, and other things that basically help boost your mood and heal internally. So adaptogenics basically, or adaptogens, are really supportive in boosting your mood and your hormones, and you really want to support your microbiome. So I could go into a lot about this. Again, if this sparks an interest, please drop me a message on Instagram, call me, let's get in touch, let's set up some sessions. It is profoundly powerful, but you want to basically heal your microbiome. Your microbiome is in your stomach and in your intestines, and it produces the major amount of your serotonin, which is your happy hormones in your body. So when you're coming off your medication, you're healing your microbiome, because medication is kind of like a nuclear bomb that goes in and just eradicates all of our natural microbiome in our bodies. So it depletes us of our natural serotonin. So when you're coming off your medication, which is chemically altering our serotonin and our bodies and our dopamine and all of our things, you want to start to build up your natural serotonin, which is produced in your microbiome. So taking adaptogens such as actually really simple things like sauerkraut in the morning. All fermented foods are really good for it. Mushrooms, not magic mushrooms, but different mushroom powders, they all really support. You actually start to boost your natural happy hormones. So you are literally a happy bunny in your belly. Happy gut, happy life. And number 14, and this is a huge one, and that is track your hormones, particularly if you're a woman, of course. I'm speaking to my women here. Track your hormone cycle because we are four in one and we go through these hormonal loops. And if we're having, and we're not aware of how our hormone cycles are moving, we can often think we're having a big downward spike from coming off our medication, but actually our natural hormones are kicking in and we're going through waves. So again, with this, I highly recommend not doing it alone. I also, again, recommend working with a practitioner who knows what they're talking about. Fertility, healing, body hormones, tracking your cycle, healing your womb, womb clearance, mind body connection is my absolute jam for working with women. I've actually just created a women's group. So if you're curious and you're wanting to deepen into your education around this and how to actually balance yourself, heal yourself, understand your hormones, and deepen into your sensuality and sexuality, guys, it is the fucking game changer. And as we're closing up this portal for this long needed podcast, I really want you to know that with every single one of these steps, especially from number 6 to number 14, I strongly recommend having someone working with you who's supporting you, who isn't the person who obviously is prescribing the medication. And to know that you are not alone. If you are on this journey and you are coming off your medication and you're wanting to heal and deepen, firstly, I am so proud of you. And secondly, it is possible. And your whole life changes for the better when you're able to do it consciously and you're able to do it supportively for the body and you're able to do it in a way that re-empowers you. You're not only going to heal your body, you're going to heal all of the fear that created the dis-ease in the first place. And I can say from me and from multiple women and men who I've worked with around the world, the healing happens. So I cannot wait. And if you have any questions, if this is sparking any interest, drop me a message. Let's get in touch. There are amazing things happening in my field, and I would love to open and share them with you and also to drop in on your journey and what you're needing. It is so possible. Okay, I love you.